Assalamu alaikum, dear students. This is just an introduction to the blood. In this lecture, हम blood के बारे में बात करेंगे, इसकी composition के बारे में बात करेंगे, इसकी function के बारे में बात करेंगे, different जो cell है, उसके बारे में हम composition के बारे में हम बात करेंगे. So that is एक superficially एक general overview है of the blood. और उसके बाद जो है, इंशाल्लाह हम फिर एक circulation पर पूरे इस पर एक next lecture भी आप लोगों के साथ share करेंगे. So the objective of today's lecture is to know about the blood, its composition and its function. So सबसे पहले जो है blood है क्या चीज? So it is a body fluid which is present in the circulatory system, and it is responsible for the transport of some necessary and essential substances, which include the different nutrients and as well as the oxygen, which is really required for the production of that energy in the mitochondria. So that oxygen is being transported through with addition to the hemoglobin, and hemoglobin is present in the red blood cell part of the blood. So that blood is responsible for that during the necessary substances, including both the oxygen as well as the very essential nutrients. Along with this function, the blood is also responsible for the transports of different waste products away from the same cell, including the carbon dioxide. So this is a summary of the composition of the blood. If we talk about the blood, so by weight, the blood is almost 8% of the total body weight, and बाकी जो जितने भी tissues हैं, fluids हैं, they are 92%. In 8% blood में फिर 5% यानी 5% जो है ये प्लाज्मा है, and 5% जो है ये cells है. We can say that form element at the cells. फिर इन्हीं जो cells है, या we can say that form element में से platelets जो है ये almost 4,000 होते हैं. इसी तरह जो है white blood cell they are present at 5 to 9,000, and in red blood cell they are reported present which is almost 4.2 to 6.2 million. यहाँ पे इसकी देख सकते हैं कि if this is the total that 45% of the blood, that is the cell portion. So these white color, that is the platelets, and this little portion, this is that white blood cell, and the remaining red one known as the red blood cell. The plasma, which is 55% of the total plasma, that is mostly made of water. 97% of it is water, and the 7% they are protein, and the remaining 2% are the other solutes, which include the ions, the nutrients, the waste product, the gases, as well as the regulated substances. The 7%, which is the part of that plasma, that protein that contain 58% of these 7% is albumin, 38% they are the globulin, and the remaining 4% they are the fibrinogen. So this is the composition of the different structures in the components of the plasma and the sperm cells. The white blood cells, but then they are the neutrophils, the lymphocytes, monocytes, the eosinophils, and the basophils. The most abundant them are the neutrophils, and in the lymphocytes they are 20%, 25%. In the monocytes they are 3 to 8%, 2% eosinophil, and the basophil they are the 0.5 to 1%. The basophil, eosinophil, and the neutrophils, as well as the mast cells. These four types of the WBC, they are also called as the granulocytes, as their cytoplasm that contains a granule-like structure. So that's why these are collectively known as the granulocytes. So now अभी हम उसकी बात करेंगे, टोटल जो कंपोजिशन उसके बारे में बात करेंगे. तो प्लाज्मा जो है, दिस इज द लिक्विड पार्ट ऑफ द ब्लड. जैसे यहाँ पे हमने डिस्कस किया प्रीवियस स्लाइड में कि विच इज द 55% ऑफ द प्लाज्मा. अच्छा, ये जो है ये किस तरह हमें आ जाएगा, ये प्लाज्मा और सेल किस तरह सेपरेट कर सकते हैं? तो ये सेंट्रीफ्यूज मशीन के जरिए हो सकता है, जहाँ पे ये मुख्तलिफ revolution permeability and speed जो है एक साथ centrifuge किया जाता है, जिसकी वजह से जो liquid part है ये अलग हो जाएगा और जो silk part है ये जो है अलग और नीचे बैठ जाएगा, sedimentation इसकी हो जाएगी. So plasma जो है, this is the liquid part of the blood, and this is pale yellow in color, which is made up 92% of water and 91% of water, proteins, and the mineral or ions. Similarly, there are glucose and nutrients as well as hormones. Farm elements, they are the RBC. RBC, they are biconchave in shape. Their diameter is 7.8 micrometer and thickness is 2.5 micrometer. In the min, their concentration is almost 52 lakh per cubic millimeter of blood, while in women it is 51 lakh. It means in the men the blood is a little bit higher than the RBC, they are a little bit higher than the women. The function of the red blood cell, the main function is transportation. These are also known as the erythrocytes. The word erythrocyte means the red blood cell, and their transport is the transport of oxygen through the hemoglobin. So RBC that transport hemoglobin which carries the oxygen, and its color is red color. RBC contain carbonic anhydrase enzyme which speed up the reaction, and which is the water and carbon dioxide, which will react, which will result in the carbonic acid. But it is a very weak compound, and very soon after its formation, it dissociates into the bicarbonate ion and HCO3. Later on, at the lung side, again there is meeting up HCO3 with the hydrogen ion, and that bicarbonate ion is then converted added with the hydrogen, converted into the carbon dioxide and H2O. This reaction is basically one of the transport method of carbon dioxide from the cell towards the lungs. Carbon dioxide that transport through three methods in the blood. Some percentage of carbon dioxide that is dissolved directly in the plasma of the blood. Some of the carbon dioxide they combine with the hemoglobin, and much of the carbon dioxide they react with the water and make carbonic acid, and then the carbonic acid they will travel in the blood from the cell towards the lung, in towards the that alveoli in the form of that HCO3 and the hydrogen. That after when they reach the alveoli, they will combine together again from the water and the carbon dioxide. Hemoglobin is also an excellent acid-base buffer, and through this reaction, they can regulate the acid-base nature of the body. The erythropoiesis, that is that process in which the RBC are produced, they are known as the erythropoiesis. The word poiesis means that is the production, and erythro means the red blood cell. So the process of RBC production is known as the erythropoiesis. The white blood cell, they are almost 7,000 per microliter of blood, and there are different types of WBC. Some are neutrophils, some are eosinophils, and these all are the polymorphonuclear, is the basophil. In there, the monocytes and the lymphocytes. The neutrophil, the eosinophil, and the basophil, they are also called as the granulocyte, as we discussed earlier. How does the WBC works? So actually, these WBC that destroy the invading bacteria or viruses through a specific process, and that process known as the phagocytosis, which simply means the cell eating. By forming the antibodies and sensitized lymphocytes, one or both of which may destroy or inactivate the invader, which may be a bacteria or which may be a virus or other foreign substance. White blood cells, they are attracted to the plant tissue either by the chemotaxis. Chemotaxis is actually the process through which The white blood cells, they just reach towards the injury site, and this is just because at the injury site there are some chemical substances which are released, like the cytokines, like the prostaglandin, and these chemical substances in through that chemotaxis, they attract the WB cells towards the injury site. The chemical substances at the infection injury site are formed that can cause the chemotaxis towards the inflamed area, and these chemical substances include the cytokine, the prostaglandin, and etc. But if this phenomena is present, then why there is disease? Because if there is antibody, then there is chemotaxis, there should be no disease. So why then there is still the disease they are present? Because some bacteria, however, notably the TB bacteria which causing the TB, that is known as the tuberculosis bacillus, they have some special coats, and these coats are they are resistant to the that lysosomal enzymatic digestion, and also they secrete some substances that partially resist the killing effects of the neutrophils and the macrophages. So these bacteria they are responsible for many of these chronic diseases, example of which is tuberculosis. Lifespan of WBC, the granulocytes being released. We discussed earlier that the neutrophil, the basophil, and the mast, they are called the granulocytes. Their lifespan in the blood that is 48 hours, uh, but they can remain alive for 5 days in the tissues. And serious infection lifespan decreases 2 hours while performing their function. They are themselves destroyed. Monocyte, they are 10 to 20 hours in the blood. It means they have more lifespan than the granulocytes. And tissue that will form tissue macrophages, forming the tissue macrophage system. And then they can live for months and months undestroyed while performing phagocytic function. Similarly, the lymphocytes, uh, their lifespan may be from weeks to months. That depend on the situation. Platelets, they are the 300,000 per microliter of blood. The platelets in the blood, they are replaced about once every 10 days. It means they have uh, lifespan of 10 days. So what are the function of the platelets? The most important function of the platelets, they are involved during the hemorrhage. When there is hemorrhage, they help in the stopping of the bleeding. So they maintain the hemostasis. Hemostasis is that the bleeding process, stopping of the bleeding process is the hemostasis. Platelet level decreases, the decreased production or increased destruction, that will be called as the thrombocytopenia, which simply called as the low platelet concentration. But if there is increase in the platelet level in the blood, the conditions may be they may lead to the thrombocytosis, they may be present in the stroke, or they may lead towards the heart attack. So these are the structure of the biconcave structure, the red blood cell, the normal and healthy red blood cell. These are small, the platelets, and these are the white blood cell. And these we see that move in the vessel, in the arteries, the veins, uh, through that liquid part which is called as the plasma. And the plasma and the red blood cell, they all called as the blood. So this is a blood vessel, capillary. And why it is capillary? Because if we look at the diameter of this vessel, it's almost equal to the 1 RBC. And in capillary, only 1 RBC that can travel at a single time. So this is our blood capillary. Whenever a vessel is damaged or it is ruptured, so what happens? Actually, there is hemostasis, and this hemostasis is then achieved by a number of mechanisms. Among these mechanisms, it involve the construction of the vessel wall and the formation of the plate plug. Formation of a blood clot is a result of the blood coagulation and eventual growth of fibrous tissue into the blood clot to close the hole in the vessel permanently. This is the complete mechanism through which there is this complete process is known as the clotting. And when there is any damage to the vessels of this clotting occur. These are those 5 steps. When there is injury to the vessel, there is agglutination of the platelets, then there is formation of that fibrin tissue, when the fibrin clots form and there is retraction of the clot occurs. So now at the end, we will discuss the function of the blood overall. What are the general function of the blood? So they help in the transport of gases like the oxygen and carbon dioxide, oxygen from the lungs towards the cell, and carbon dioxide, transport of carbon dioxide from the cell towards the lungs, towards the alveoli. They also help in the transport of nutrients like the glucose, towards the mitochondria for the production of energy, and the fatty acid again for the energy towards the cell, specifically during the exercise. They also help in the transport of waste product like the urea, the lactic acid, the carbon dioxide. They also involve in the transport of the liberate margin. As we discussed earlier, the blood they also it is a good one of the good pumping system that help in the regulation of the pH. Similarly, it also help in the keeping the body temperature within the range, so it maintains the body temperature as well. Similarly, through the function of the white blood cells, which are the army of our body, through those WBC, they can help us and they can protect us from the infection from the foreign substances. And obviously, through the platelets, they are involved in the hemostasis or that stopping up bleeding, which is simply known as the coagulation. They also make up almost 7 to 8% of the body weight, which is 1.7.5 of blood is present every day in the body, and there are 20 to 30 trillions of RBCs present. That was a general discussion, introduction to the blood, and next lecture we will talk about the circulatory system. So that was introduction to the blood. Thank you so much to all.